Dear diary, I know I look like shit right now. I was just going to use a photograph, but then part of me thinks that's deceptive. If I'm going to look like a fucking asshole, I shouldn't hide that, right? Of course, you'll use that to discredit my enemies will use that to discredit me. It's a mask I wear, a nice mask. Do you understand? Oh shit, crazy kitty. Oh fuck, if I use a photo, I have to do dirty shit too, so I'm gonna have to go with this shitty image. Pretend I'm not here. Pretend I'm wearing a shirt too. I just got high. It is 9:19 p.m. on a Saturday night, and I'm here somewhere in the boonies working hard to defeat the system. My fellow Americans, my fellow Earthlings. Today I'm going to try and very quickly explain to you some updates. As you know, or you may not know, I'm not like most people. I am the best attorney on the planet Earth. Now, granted, that's not saying much. At first you say, oh, it sounds like quite a boast. No, most attorneys are complete hacks and complete imbeciles. And all of them are liars and criminals. Even the good lawyers are dirty criminals. Everyone thinks Ron Kuby's a good civil rights attorney. Totally dirty criminal. Sanford Rubenstein, even Norman Siegel, former head of the New York Civil Liberties Union. Criminal. Don't believe me. They'll say, CXB's crazy. Then you just say, really? Well, then when you debate them on the facts, and they'll go, nope. I'm like Bill Cosby. I ain't got nothing to say in my defense. So you'll have to cut me some slack because of the marijuana seeping into my bloodstream, bringing reefer madness all about. I'll try and speak in a fabulously bad British accent because I like it more than my own speaking voice. I'm suing Facebook. As of right this moment, I have one major class action lawsuit in federal court against Facebook. Everything they're doing is illegal. Don't get me started. I don't know if I made a video for that already. That's another problem with being so prolific. You can make a zillion videos, and there's a few of them that are probably quite redundant. I'm sorry, but put yourself in my shoes before you judge me. Thank you. Facebook is a criminal organization on 100 levels, but just a couple easy ones. I finally realized, I said, if no one's going to take these douchebags on, I'm going to. And it doesn't seem like anybody out there is smart enough. Like you may have heard a few people online across the world complain that they got banned or a photo removed on Facebook because of a female nipple. Even some artwork, statues, and paintings. Now remember, there's no such thing as obscenity here, because you can take children into any art museum where there are breasts and even genitalia. So remember, when you see anyone talk about breasts, that person is a psychopath. That person is a dangerous psychopathic terrorist who is a threat to human society. Because if they're that insane, I mean, that's beyond irrational. Should this person be allowed to drive a car or raise children? Of course not. That would be completely criminally negligent if we allow that person to survive. Again, they're a human cancer. You need to drown them in a lake. It is a matter of public safety, national security, etc., because it's the morons who threaten all of us and ruin all of our lives. All wars were created by morons. So we could literally tomorrow, if we wanted to, in fact, it's already illegal, but don't get me started, we could round up every moron tomorrow and hang them all. But don't get me started. Stupidity. Again, if you cure stupidity, everything else falls into place now, doesn't it? If you cure stupidity, there's no more men and women having stupid childish fights over ego and power struggles. If you eradicate stupidity, there's no more bad big business. There's no more corrupt government. There's no more bad cops. All you have to do is focus on the problem. Because your method of fighting the symptoms, I would argue it's never worked. But just keep trying. Just keep trying. When in doubt, stick it out, right? You think you can. You think you can. Definition of insanity. Facebook. Am I the only human? I'm the only person I've seen online of the zillions of people complaining about this. And they even had nudity day. You people, this is how, remember, people aren't just ignorant. This isn't ignorance. Every American already knows there are laws against age discrimination, gender discrimination, racial discrimination. You can't have a business where you don't allow blacks in. That's common sense. Even the dumb rednecks know this. They don't like it, but they know it. You can't discriminate. You can't have a club that doesn't allow in 20-year-olds. That would be completely illegal. But not one human on earth but me seems to be remotely intelligent. It's heartbreaking. I know you take it as an insult, but you chose to be lazy in the brain. This was choice. You weren't born stupid. You actively worked to be stupid. Anybody with an IQ over 10 knows that you can't say no blacks allowed in this music club. That's a discrimination. It's arbitrary based on skin color. It's illegal. Everybody knows that. Everybody's heard of age discrimination too. You can't say, I'm sorry, you're only 20 years old. You're not allowed to come see these musical acts. That would be arbitrary and capricious and completely legal. Because you're selling alcohol? Nope. Every restaurant sells alcohol. And none of them are 21 plus. So you just lied. That's how stupid your human race is. Remember, even the smart people out there are dumb as shit. Stop believing what you've been told. And it's common sense that it is illegal in America for any place to be 21 plus, except for maybe strip clubs. That one I'll give them a little gray area. We could argue about strip clubs. Because again, well, you say, oh, sexuality. Well, all right, this 5-year-old kid, he was sucking his mother's tits just 2 years ago. So shut up, you fucking liars. Shut up, you fucking liars. And he touches his pee-pee in the bathtub every fucking night. Shut up, you fucking hysterical religious lunatics. You're a bunch of terrorists who are a threat to all human society and progress. Fuck you. Have I already digressed a bit? Also, everybody knows, at least in America, I don't know, I can't speak for other countries' laws, I didn't look it up. But in America, everybody knows you can't legally block a female nipple. Not on TV. Not anywhere that a male nipple is allowed. That's the law in America. It's not even subtle. Equal protection nailed it. 1868. Now, they would say, I don't want to confuse you here. There's a difference between public and private. Example, Facebook can punish its workers for freedom of speech because the Bill of Rights doesn't affect private companies, right? That's what this confuses some people, so spread the word. Some people get confused. Oh, I shouldn't be too loud. Some people get confused by the public-private. Free speech is only guaranteed by government, not private business. I'm one of those people who would argue it should probably be everywhere. So if you tell the truth to your boss, he can't fire you because you told him the truth. Nobody on earth should ever get punished for telling the truth. But we've designed a system where you almost exclusively get punished if you tell the truth, and you almost exclusively get rewarded if you lie. That's the world we were born into. Do you want a better world? Well, what are you going to do about it? Because I'm doing all the fucking work. And I'm tired of it. And I'm trying to give up, but I'm not very good at it, turning off my conscience. I got to learn how other human beings do it. Yeah. Now, the gender and age discrimination laws and stuff, that isn't just for the government. That's illegal for everybody in America. Private business cannot say whites only, and a government office can't say whites only. It's for everybody. There can be no gender discrimination, racial discrimination, age discrimination, a couple other categories, in private or public sectors. So tell me can anyone explain to me how Facebook blocking you from putting a woman's nipples, but not a man's nipples, how that's not discrimination based on gender? I'd love to hear it. Now, here's my point. It's a great case. And I think most of the world would be like, I want to see that guy argue against Facebook's lawyers. I want to see that. Well, you will maybe never get the chance because I have to go through federal judges. And the federal judges are all appointed by who? The President of the United States. That right there, we're done. That means they have to be corrupt. Why would a president appoint a judge who's not a player? It'd be too risky. You also want to hire idiots because what happens when you hire really smart people? They don't take orders as easily as dumb people do. So people forget that. People think, no, if you're a federal judge, you got to be a real brainiac. You got to be like real smart shit. Supreme Court, those judges, they were like real smart stuff. They got to be. I mean, how else do you become a judge? It's not like you cut a check to Bloomberg and he appoints you a judge. You mean that's legal? Oh, I didn't know that. You mean in America, all the judges or most of them are appointed by politicians? And there's no test. They don't have to pass any test or anything. Bloomberg and Giuliani simply had to say, listen, Vito, I really appreciate your last campaign donation. Maybe people are going to say, Bloomberg's rich. We can't digress because you're wrong about everything you think you know what you're talking about. Please, at some point you have to start to trust me. You have to say, you know what, I think he doesn't pretend to know about things he doesn't know. He only talks about things he does know, and he seems to back up everything he says. So maybe I should start to trust Christopher. He also has the most accurate track record of any lawyer in human history. But let's not digress. we're trained now. One, you're trained from birth to respect authority and institutions. That's why the judge is on a pedestal in the courtroom. Everything they do, that's why the walls were made of marble. All of this stuff was mind control tricks to say to you, to teach you to look up in awe. Everybody rises when the judge comes in. They call him Your Honor. He's a public servant. Why are we calling him Your Honor? Why are we acting like the president or the mayor is king when that's the exact opposite of the American system? They are our slaves. They should kiss our ring every time they want to but but they've convinced you that they are the kings and they are the gods, and you fell for it. Wow. I'm weird. I grew up, even as a little boy, I never had any respect for any institution. Never impressed. First time I went to church, I said, "This sucks." That was it. And most kids do that. But then the kids quickly learn, oh shit, I gotta play by the rules and pretend this shit is real. And I gotta go along with all these fucking lies and shit. Oh fuck. And they do. You do. And you all play along. And that's why we still have a world that's fucking retarded. Even as a good example, there's a lot of stupid, retarded people who would tell you, you can't use the word retarded. That's offensive. No, it isn't. Look up a thing called a dictionary. And the word retarded means like holding itself back. So I can call anyone who didn't think shit through a retard, and I can call them retarded by order of the English language. If you don't believe that, let's debate it in a public forum, coward. You've got me to digress again, you nasty bastards. All the people don't realize judges are morons. I've dealt with hundreds, maybe over 1,000 judges in my life, personally. And almost every one of them was dumb as shit. I'm not talking about dumb. I'm talking about dumb as shit. Because there were even smart judges who were wrong and dumb in certain areas regarding law. Okay, we all are. But, I don't know that much about other types of law. I'm a specialist in certain areas. But the things I talk about are fucking common sense, like age discrimination and nobody heard of gender discrimination. Nobody on the planet but me heard of gender discrimination. What Facebook is doing is illegal. It's illegal. It's clearly illegal. It's obviously illegal. They have no arguments on any levels. For example, they claim that children are not allowed to use Facebook. So they can't say it has anything to do with protecting the children. They couldn't say that anyhow because every child has not only seen a woman's breast, they have grabbed them, bitten them, sucked them, licked them. You know how many children have seen genitals? I'm going to give you a hint. 100%. Well, but everybody plays dumb. Remember, the liberals play almost as dumb as the Republicans do. It's like, oh, that's right. Every boy has a penis. And every girl has a vagina. And so if we allow them to bathe without blindfolding them, we're corrupting the children. I was born into a world that, to me, since the day I was born, I was like, this shit is insane. Get me off this fucking planet. And I know most of you feel that way at some point in your life because you get sick of the insanity and stupidity around you as well. But you don't have it as acutely as I do because I know a lot more than you do. And also, I never fell for this crap. I do admit I believed in Santa till I was about 4 or 5. And I believed in God maybe till I was like 6 or 7, which is borderline retard. I won't deny it. Because remember, a 4-year-old kid knows, every 4-year-old kid knows basic physics. Can this fat dude fit down that fucking chimney? A 4-year-old understands those basic physics and goes, no fucking way. And every 4-year-old goes, how can he hit every roof on the planet? That's a lot of roofs in one night. By 4 or 5, even the dumb humans know basic physics or like how long a day is. It's how much you can do in one 24-hour period. You know what I mean? They know some of the rules of time and space. So we'll give the dumb kids till 6. But here's the problem. It's not that the human race is stupid. It's that they're all playing dumb to fit in. Just like nobody believed Galileo. I mean, nobody believed the Vatican. Everybody believed Galileo. But no, there was nothing to be gained by taking Galileo's side. You'll ruin your life. The church would burn you at the stake or whatever. So that's human race in a nutshell. It's just all fake, all lies. All lies. Nobody believes in God. A few people believe they believe in God, which is a huge difference because it's a coping mechanism. Oh, all kids realize Santa's horseshit pretty quickly. But here's the key. They then think to themselves, I don't care that it's a lie. It's a lie that makes me happy. Ding, ding, ding. And you've now just described the entire human condition. They all know that everything's a fucking lie. But most of it is a lie they like that bad guys go to hell and good guys go to heaven. Or karma. I have friends who believe in karma. It's like, oh yeah, that doesn't sound like the 1% invented it. No, 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 no. The businessman poisoned your water. Don't go down there with a bunch of pitchforks, people, and fucking and lynch him. Don't stop this evil. Let it go on, because karma's gonna get him. Same lie, exact same lie as Christianity, isn't it? Oh, you turn the other cheek. Let the businessman rape you again, because he's gonna get his in the next life. Watch out, you're gonna get eternal paradise. He's gonna get eternal flames. Oh man. But then they even admit that's a lie, and they say, no, it doesn't matter whether you're a good person or not. It matters whether you accept Jesus. You can rape all the kids, just as long as you accept Jesus. And you're okay. Everything in this world's insane. All institutions are fucking horseshit, even the good ones. But let's focus. We're talking about a big institution called the American legal system, the court system. And I'm supposed to be only telling you about updates on these cases to show you, although they're eternal, because it shows you how judges twist and turn and dance to cheat justice and cheat the law. So with the Facebook one, I have a female judge, Democratic appointed. But remember, she was approved by the Republicans and the Democratic Congress and appointed by a fucking tool, because the Democratic politicians obviously are almost as dirty as Republican politicians. It's all corrupt. You know that. But people don't realize. They're like, well, just because all the politicians are corrupt and that doesn't make all the judges who those criminals appointed. It doesn't make them also criminals. They wouldn't be bad. No, the criminals probably wanted to put in judges who had a lot of integrity. Right? The politicians are going to appoint judges who have a lot of integrity, because then that increases the chances of the politicians getting in trouble. Wait a minute. No, wait. That doesn't make any sense. It would stand to reason that politicians are going to appoint the good old boys, club members, people who know their place to be judges, because it's a cushy gig. Getting a judgeship is great. It's an easy job and you're set for life. It's a lot of lawyers' dreams. And there's been scandals even in the last 10 years. They were arresting judges in Brooklyn who paid to get on the ballot for the Supreme Court of New York City. Not the big Supreme Court. This is New York Supreme Court, which is for felonies. And that one, people are elected to the bench. All fake. Look it up. And it's even come out. All those guys, they had to make a cash payment to the Democratic Party, and they had to make a cash payment to the Republican Party in Brooklyn. And then those parties said, you know what? It looks like you're going to be on the ballot, Vito. And good news, Vito, there's 5 seats coming up. So they're going to elect 5 judges. And good news, Vito, we narrowed down the candidates to 5 candidates. So I have a hunch you're going to win one of those 5 seats, Vito, since there's only 5 candidates and there's only 5 openings. Ding, ding, ding. And they still do that in New York City, and everyone just plays dumb, because it's easier to do nothing than to do something, and all humans are fucking lazy fucks. Except for me. Sucks to be me. If I do kill myself, make sure I do it on camera. And if I don't do it on camera, you should then say, oh, I guess the CIA did get to him. In the Facebook lawsuit, me suing them. Now, I'm suing them for gender discrimination and all the problems they cause to people. Because remember, Facebook hangs themselves because their argument is we're ubiquitous. You can't really function in life today, in modern society, even if you're a business or a musical act or a visual artist. Facebook is it. It's so ubiquitous, it almost has a monopoly. Cool. So if you're saying if you were to ban somebody or block somebody, you'd be doing massive damage to their life. Now Facebook go, no. It's not, Facebook's not really that. You don't need Facebook at all. Oh no. So when we ban these people incorrectly based on us breaking the law of gender discrimination because they showed a nipple, there'd be no negative effect in their lives. Well, they can't reach any of their friends unless they have the cell phones. See, Facebook hangs itself. That's why this is a great case. I never expected it to go to trial. I know how the federal courts are. They're dirty. They're not as dirty as the state courts. But the federal courts are almost overwhelmingly corrupt. Yes, they make good decisions, and they make honest decisions once in a while. And sometimes they do that for the right reasons, and sometimes they do that for the wrong reasons. But, let me not digress. Just had a brain fart. I was saying something about, I was going in the direction of how all the judges have to be liars, how all the judges have to be morons, etc. That's the design. You people still think I'm exaggerating. I'm not. A federal judge, as a rule, is a hack. A hack. A hack. Luckily, there's such prestige to the job and there's so many eyes on them that once in a while they obey the law. Plus, it's not like any federal judge. They have lifetime appointment. They don't have to worry about being fired. That's another thing that actually does work sometimes. Reagan will appoint a judge who looks conservative, and then once that person's in power, they can never be removed. And that person then, whether it's because of their legacy or whatever reason, they will do the right thing and piss off the people who appointed them. So that does work. I can admit that sometimes. In fact, most of the progress we've got in the United States of America hasn't been from politicians passing laws. It's been from people like me suing to get the government to obey the laws that already exist, like the Bill of Rights. Right? Gay marriage was legalized over 100 years ago, but nobody seemed to care. I pointed it out and everyone called me crazy. And then people think it was legalized in 2014. No, in 2015, the Supreme Court said all they did was say, "Yep, it's been illegal for over 100 years." I mean, it's been legal for over 100 years. That's all they said in 2015. They didn't make any new laws. They didn't do anything. They just said, "Yeah, equal protection, 1868. Yeah, it's kind of settled." Yeah. Which is what I've been saying my whole life. Yet again, the Supreme Court said, "Why don't we listen to the guy who's smarter than everybody else combined?" Even the gay, I never saw a gay person in my life say, "I have a right to get married because of the fucking 14th Amendment equal protection." Even the victims victimize themselves with their fucking stupidity and trust for the establishment. I'm also suing Facebook, gender discrimination. I'm suing them for fraud because Mark Zuckerberg said that he said last year, 2015, maybe 2014, he said, "We're going to stop tolerating pro-terrorism content." Now, a lot of stupid people didn't read between the lines. This is what he was saying. The moment the law enforcement tells me to ban all Black Lives Matters pages because they keep trying to spread in the media that that's a terrorist organization. Occupy Wall Street. What Mark Zuckerberg was saying is this: I would have already shut down every political page that threatens the billionaire class, of which me and everybody else who runs Facebook are. So we have a financial conflict of interest, which puts us on very thin legal ice. You see, remember, if what Mark Zuckerberg's doing is to protect himself and his criminal activities, but he's misleading his customers as he says that, it's called fraud. You can't mislead your customers for any reason, Mark Zuckerberg. So you said you're going to crack down on terrorist organizations and their fans. Now, that can't happen. It could never work because then all the pro-police pages must also be shut down. Military must be shut down. All of those must be gotten rid of. You can lie all you want. Some people think the police are good terrorism, and some of us think they are bad terrorism. But nobody disputes that they are the very definition of terrorism. Find me one person. There'll be people say, "I don't agree." Nope, you didn't disagree with me. Tell me how the police aren't terrorism. Don't say they aren't. That's not an argument. Tell me how they aren't terrorists by the very exact one definition of terrorism, which is, again, the threat of violence or the use of violence to achieve a political goal. That's terrorism. That's the only purpose of the police. That's the only purpose of a military. Like it or hate it. And now remember, nobody criticizes terrorism. I love George Washington and the Founding Fathers. I agree, they were terrorists. Mandela admits he was a terrorist. He was really building bombs with his friends to get some rights for their people. He was doing terrorism we can debate whether he was noble or not, but what he did was terrorism. What Ben Franklin did was terrorism. Yes, we know this. So, Mark Zuckerberg, are you saying you're going to ban anyone who praises Mandela? See, you lied to your customers. Are you going to ban any talk about the founding of America? I didn't think so. You lied to your customers. I can go on and on and on. But I prove it overwhelmingly. He admits he works with law enforcement. He has many conflicts of interest. He works for the people the Bill of Rights warned us against. He works for the terrorists. And the reason he said that, and there's other things they've done too, like they're doing lots of stuff to hamper political content, because now they realize, fuck, we've created a tool that is going to blow up in our own faces. And it has. And they don't know how to put the genie back in the bottle, and I'm not sure they can. And what Mark Zuckerberg meant to say was, I have spoken with law enforcement every day, and I would have already shut down all left-wingers, all progressives, all dissidents. The only reason I haven't is because law enforcement doesn't want me to, because this way they can monitor and track all of you. But I'm just giving you a heads up as soon as they give me the word. If you guys get too powerful against bad police and murderous judges and the rest of them, I'm going to shut you down, you terrorists. That's what he was saying. And I got plenty more evidence and stuff. And so I argued it. And like the first lawsuit I filed, the first complaint, it's called a complaint, was like 4 pages. Not too. Remember, some lawsuits are hundreds of pages. Many lawsuits are hundreds of pages and boxes. Most lawsuits are huge. A 4-page lawsuit is very rare. So they can't say, well, Christopher gets verbose. Nope. The first lawsuit is 4 pages. The judge then responds, this female Democratic judge, she responds and says, and orders it. She says, you have to file an amended complaint. I don't understand what the fuck you're saying. I don't understand this gender discrimination you speak of. I don't understand what this means. You're saying they commit fraud because they deceive their customers in ways that benefit the bottom line? Meaning monetary gain, which would be fraud and conspiracy. And if they do it more than 3 times, it rises to RICO, organized crime statutes. Wait a minute. I don't understand this. You're going to have to do a whole new complaint that puts it in English so I can understand what the hell fraud is. Fraud, is that some kind of like crime statute? Fraud? Oh my God. Oh, that might be too loud. And so I wrote it again. I had no choice. I'm going to go to the appeals court. They're not much smarter, and that's going to be even more work. So this is what they do. They got to slow you down. They got to wear you down till you go away to protect the billionaires. My amended complaint is even more clear, cut, and simple. I try to make it as dumb as possible, as direct as possible for this person. She writes this week. She dismisses it. She says, yet again, you've done a complaint that doesn't seem to make any sense. I don't understand what you're saying. It just doesn't make sense at all. You're your own attorney, so that goes without saying that you're crazy. So, and at one point, here's an example. She writes words to the effect of like I get like maybe you're suggesting is a breach of contract or something. She says that. Are you suggesting? Or she says, I think you're suggesting the breach of contract, maybe like terms of service. Yeah, gender discrimination. I'm talking about federal and state laws. You cannot discriminate against gender. No private business can. No public business can. No government entity or private entity can do this. I suppose people can in the privacy of their own homes. I don't think that's necessarily covered. So is that like in the terms of service? And the breach of contract, like you made a contract with them and they said they would allow nipples and didn't? What's this law? What is law? I gotta look this up. You're not really making a lot of sense talking about this law thing. When you say fraud, he deceived his customers for monetary gain. I mean, what are you talking about? Monetary? Does that mean like money? I don't understand what you're talking about. Monetary gain. What? And this is every judge. Oh, that's almost every judge I've dealt with in my life. But on a federal level, it's even more embarrassing. Luckily, there's a blacklist on me, thanks to the billionaires and the Trachtenbergs and all the fake left-wing artists in New York City who destroyed my credibility and my name for the purpose of protecting Giuliani and Bloomberg. They'll say, that's not why we did it. Then you say, well, why did you do it? And they go, I don't feel like talking about it. And you go, thank you, Mr. Cosby. Guilty as charged. That was what, and the judge's dismissal was only like a page and a half because there was nothing intelligent she could say. And so, but she said, I'll give you one more shot. File another complaint. Here's an example, though, of what she wrote in the second dismissal. Or first dismissal, but it was the second, blah, blah, blah. I have a habit of being too accurate, which actually just sometimes confuses people more. Because accuracy doesn't matter. People like big, simple things. The minutia, better for me to say 30 billion than for me to say 2 billion. 30 billion than for me to say 29 billion 357 million, down to dollars and cents. Which do you prefer? Accuracy? Sharp accuracy? That's too accurate. or just round up 30 billion, 29.5 billion, or exact change. No, round it up. We're all fine with that. And that's one of my big flaws, is I tend to be too accurate. But if I'm not, we see people attack me for that. So I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. And the fact that I didn't coin that phrase tells you this might be the human condition, especially if you're smarter than everybody else. That's really bad. So, Judge, oh my God, we're at 30 minutes already. I don't need to make this as long as some of the recent ones. Yeah, let's look at my hand, trying to read my scribbling. I think it's 2 judges' names. Oh, that's right. I wanted to get to the second judge. Oh, shit. The other point she makes, which is idiotic, when she says that, like, I don't know what you're saying. What, are you complaining about? What crimes are you talking about? Where do you cite anything they're doing that's illegal? I mean, you're suggesting in terms of service, breach of contract, maybe. I'm not sure. It's not clear what you're talking about. But she also says, like, also this can't go. This can't go to the Facebook's lawyers, because how are they going to fight you? They can't defend themselves against complaints that they don't understand and don't make any sense. I mean, you're saying us blocking female nipples but allowing male nipples is an arbitrary discrimination based on gender and nothing else. That's what? What? How can we? Where's there a crime? I mean, that's not we're not discriminating based on female nipples versus male nipples. They're extremely different things. It's pretty simple, Einstein. If you ban female nipples, I say you're in violation of federal and state laws on gender discrimination. You will now get, and I can go into more detail, but then they will get a chance to say it isn't. And here's why. The judge is saying, you don't make any real complaint, so how could they possibly fight against you in a court of law if you don't make any actual claims? And judges use that a lot. I've had a lot of judges who use that lie. Like, you don't make any claims out. Yeah, no claims. It's because they're lazy and stupid. That might be one of the talking points. They got a list of 5 things on the underneath the bench they could look at. You have no idea. You think judges, even the Supreme Court, their clerks do most of the work. The Supreme Court are a bunch of phonies. Everybody is. It's a horrible world. I'm picking out black lint for my thing. I live in a world in 2016, ladies and germs, where I can wash my black T-shirts hundreds of times and still they leave black lint. How is that possible? Didn't it get shaken off? I don't understand that crap. So now I'm going to have to waste even more time. I'm going to have to write another whole complaint and try to make it. Now, see, here's what I'm going to do. I made this point in both of the original complaints. I said, if I don't, my default is to put in extra information, extra evidence here. Because your default is going to think I'm a crank anyhow because it's pro se. I don't have a big law firm handling this case. So the default is to think automatically I must be a little crazy or my case must not have any merit. Otherwise, why didn't the big law firm take it? I've never pitched it to a big law firm. I'm not sure if I would want to. I don't think I'd necessarily trust them. Plus, I'm doing this partially to test the federal court system so I can write firsthand. I'm the best reporter on earth because all my stories are eyewitness accounts. I'm not getting secondhand information. Everything I get is stuff I saw and I tested. You see the logic? And what was I saying? So I would even say that. I said, I'm sorry that I'm giving you so many different examples when this is supposed to be a brief. But if I don't, you're going to say my claim is without merit. You're going to punish me. I'm going to be damned if I do, damned if I don't. So now she's like asking me to write a super duper simpleton one. And if I do that, then she can look at it and go, he doesn't really make a strong case. Again, you still think the world is real. You say, no, I don't. Yes, you do. And I can name thousands of things you believe are still real. Shut up. At least be honest with yourselves. I know it's hard and I know it hurts. But just try it. Or instead, kill me and then I don't give a fuck what you guys do. The other judge, what he did was really despicable. Let's see how I can put this. Male judge, federal judge. This is my lawsuit against... Oh, this isn't against Apple. That one I haven't gotten anything back from the judge yet. Oh, they asked for an amended complaint, I think, and I filed that. with one of my lawsuits against the MTA for violating the First Amendment and against the city of New York. I was arrested and detained in jail for 6 days for playing ukulele. Boy, detained. Remember, I wasn't convicted. I was being punished pre-conviction on a violation. Wait, you mean it's not even a misdemeanor? It's less than a misdemeanor? It's like a parking ticket? And he's detained for 6 days in jail? Okay, something is very fishy here. They also stole my amp, never gave it back because they can auction those things off once a month, and then with all the money they get, another barbecue for the police. The biggest criminals in society are the police and the government, and if you still think that's an exaggeration, you need to kill yourself right now. It's amazing. We even have our own Bill of Rights tells everybody in America, the police are the criminals, the judges are the criminals, the prosecutors are the criminals, the politicians are the criminals. That's what the Bill of Rights says over and over and over again. Each one of them protects us from only one villain: government. And people are like, it's 2016. People still don't realize that. It's like, oh my God, please kill me. So this was a lawsuit, flawless lawsuits, 3 false arrests, and me getting arrested for being on the subway, playing ukulele at 3 a.m. Disorderly conduct. Yeah, no one's ever done 6 days in jail for disorderly conduct. Look it up. It's a scam. Everything they do to me is a scam because of who I am and because I embarrass them and make them look very bad. So, where was I going? This is what this dumb federal judge tells me. There's so many interesting things I want to tell you. You have to understand, with me, it is a struggle for me to even say one coherent sentence. Because when your brain works as super fast as mine, they could say hypermania. No, I can prove I'm super duper smart. So it's not hypermania, assholes. And I don't have a lot of patience. Because I'm too busy, because you and the government robbed me of most of my life. Hundreds of thousands of hours spent in courts and dealing with judges and jails and all kinds of other related shit. And you lost me my homes and my jobs with your false arrests. You've ruined every inch of my life. Shut the fuck up. Every year of my life I get faster and faster because every year I have to. And you can't keep up with me, so you call it hypermania. Yeah, suck a donkey's dick. Now, yeah, I don't want to digress, even though every factoid is... So I'm showing you now how the second judge, in a second federal lawsuit, nothing to do with the other one, Facebook one, how he twisted reality and squirmed and lied. Here's how he cheated. He dismissed my complaint and he argued, you don't have the right to file it in this court. You're in the wrong court. That was his weasel way. Now, I could tell you a whole list of weasel ways the federal courts use, but I'm not going to, hopefully. Please don't make me. Please don't allow me to. He says, you're in the wrong court. You don't live in this state. I'm trying to keep everything vague deliberately. You don't live in the state you filed. And this is also, the state you filed in is, and the court and state you filed in is not the state you live in, nor is it the state where the defendants live, nor is it the place where the crimes happened. So, no, you're going to have to file this in some other court. Now, here's some examples of why he was wrong on the law. But again, there aren't many judges who know what this law thing, what's this law thing? Again, we can go out if you want. Pick any city you want. We'll go out with a camera crew and we'll film the police. We will ask random police questions about law. You want to bet some cash that I will show you 100% ratio. 100% cops who don't know the law. You will not find me a cop who I can't stump. That's a pretty serious allegation. And that's the kind of thing we should have. Is there nobody out there doing this shit? People with video cameras is like, where are my allies? Occupy Wall Street? Those guys are asleep. Anonymous? It seems like they're mostly playing video games. And what the fuck, guys? If you guys are as powerful as you sound and anonymous, you should be taking somebody out every week. Some Goliath down every single week, maybe every 2 days. I don't have any resources. I got 0 allies. I take on Goliaths myself. And I beat the shit out of them, but at what cost to my own life? If I had to do it all over again, I would try to I wouldn't have moved to New York City, but if I could do it all over again, I would probably let you all burn because you don't care about yourselves. So what the fuck? Why am I wasting my time fighting to help society? I'm still doing it now, but partially it's for my own. It's like, no, somebody has to punch this bully in the face and no one else is going to do it. I'm going to do it even if it doesn't fucking get me anywhere. And this isn't even for the team. It's more, this is an important lesson this bully needs to learn. And I'm going to break them. I'm going to break Facebook's nose. I'm going to break Apple's nose. And then they may get away, but they still fucking felt that fucking broken nose. You see what I'm saying? The judge is wrong here, that it's the wrong venue and wrong courthouse and wrong state for a number of reasons, which I had already beaten him to the punch in and included them in the body of the lawsuit that he is referring to, because I knew he was going to be an idiot, so I better idiot-proof this in advance. And so, example, I said reasons of jurisdiction. The trial cannot happen in New York City or New York State. The crimes, most of the crimes happened in New York City. But if that was a critical factor, it still can't be done because the defendants are some of the most powerful people who run New York City even right now. So that would be, and I made the analogy, and he referred to it too, where I said it would be irrational and unreasonable to expect Anne Frank to be able to sue the Nazis in a Nazi Germany court. You'd have to go, you understand, conflicts of interest. And the American legal system, it's federal law. It's the top law that there is. I have a right to a fair shot. If it's in a city where all the judges go to Bloomberg's mansion for fucking Christmas parties, they all hobnob and socialize with the rich and fancy in New York City and the powerful politicians, we have conflicts of interest. And I even, just to show you how thorough I am, I even said to him, I said, here's 2 examples. You can look them up or call them. Judge Shindlin, Shira Shindlin, and Judge Nicholas Garofis in Brooklyn, Manhattan and Brooklyn. After Judge Shindlin found the NYPD guilty in the stop and frisk case, all the newspapers ganged up on her and started smearing her reputation and her name until she was removed from the case. In the other, Nicholas Garofis, he's in Brooklyn federal judge. The fire department, the black dudes in the fire department sue the shit out of the FDNY and Mike Bloomberg, saying you're a racist organization. The NYPD is like 60% white, and the fire department is 95% white in a city with massive Chinese and, well, Asian and black and Latino populations, 95% white. We all know what's going on there. It's keeping it in the family. But of course, Bloomberg said, this is ridiculous. It's just that this was Bloomberg's argument. And everyone but me, literally every human on earth but me, thought this was okay. Bloomberg's argument was, niggas just aren't good at fighting fires. That was also Giuliani's argument. That was also their argument in hundreds of other stories about discrimination. When asked why his administration was almost all white Jewish males, Bloomberg's argument, niggers, spics, and Asians just aren't intelligent enough or qualified enough to be in my cabinet of people. Okay, we did hire some niggers, but they're lower on the totem pole. Now you could say, they didn't say that. Really? Then what was their excuse? Then what was their argument, smarty pants? If you say that's not what they argued, really? Then what was their argument? What is the argument of why the fire department was 95% white? What is the argument? There's only one argument the right wing and Republicans ever said. Niggers just can't fight fires. They say the hiring process is based solely on merit. Asians just don't, they're good at math, sure, but they just can't climb ladders. They just ain't got muscles, you know? Yeah. It's not my fault the Asians don't have muscles. It's just white people got muscles. That was, remember, New York City, Manhattan, is the capital of the world. They would argue the smartest people on earth, the most best investigative reporters, everybody. And only one human being thought that was an obscene legal argument. Only one person thought that was a scandal. chilling. Can you imagine? Every day I wake up on this planet, it's the worst thing imaginable. One man versus 7 billion Nazis. And remember, not all the Nazis were evil. Your actresses were Nazis. It's like being a Democrat. If you were a Nazi, this is how stupid our language is and how stupid humans are. You could use the word Nazi, not just to mean how we use it for, like, say, somebody who's really strict, or somebody who uses violence when he's being proven wrong in an argument, or the few variations where it is socially acceptable to call somebody a Nazi. When Bloomberg canceled term limits, a lot of people called him a Nazi. But the fact, the irrefutable fact is, it's not even a secret, that Nazi literally, now we're not talking figuratively, we're talking literally, Nazi means and meant a person who was a member of the Nazi Party. Your 85-year-old grandmother was a Nazi. Her children were Nazis. Their children were Nazis. It's like being a Democrat or Republican. The butcher, the movie star, they were all Nazis. Most Nazis never killed a Jew. That's why, again, it's really disingenuous and really slimy when anybody makes an analogy between Nazi and killing Jews. It's completely irrelevant. How can you say that? Well, we killed more fucking Indians than they killed Jews. Why are you bringing up the Holocaust? Even if it happened, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. They were fucking murdering my people 8 years before they were fucking murdering Jews. The first people they rounded up were critics and whistleblowers and dissidents, not Jews. And they went after the Slavs just as bad as they went after the Jews. Come on. It's just such a simple-minded, such fucking childish simplicity, and you fall for the crap they teach you. Now, again, I'm not saying the Holocaust didn't happen. I'm saying they killed a fuckload of Slavs, too. Why did the Jews get all the credit? Why is that called a Holocaust and the killing of however millions of American Indians isn't a Holocaust? See, everything is horseshit. Everything is fucking horseshit. So let's get back to my lawsuit. I idiot-proofed it. And I said to the judge, I cited 2 judges. Oh, that's where I digressed. Shira Schindlin her career was hammered, and her reputation, her social life was fucked by the media beating her up with smears to ruin her credibility. And they got her removed from the case using a lie. So this isn't hypothetical, Your Honor. They really did this. And look what they did to Nicholas Grothus when he found the fire department was was hiring people based on race illegally, and it was arbitrary. They got caught hiring unqualified white dudes who had family in the FDNY over very qualified black candidates. Duh! Big surprise! Again, there's never been once in human history a Republican's been right. There's never been once in human history where the right wing has been correct. Name one. I tell those fuckers to come debate me. When? When you tell us that tobacco was good for us? Never mind that quack science. Was it the weapons of mass destruction? Was it when you said Bush's tax cuts would make New York, America so many jobs and everybody would be rich? Name one lie, one statement by the Republicans or the right wing that has ever been true. Just one. You can't. They even call Romney care Obamacare. Huh? And then the Democrats help them because the Democrats feel stupid. So that was one smoking gun right there. I said, this has to be done in a court that is far away from New York. New York, none of the venues in New York would be appropriate given the sensitivities of this case and the extremities of this case, duh. I'm taking on a very powerful government here. And I was also suing some news media outlets located in New York City who wrote lies about me. New York Post wrote a whole bunch of lies about me in a story about me suing the MTA, and the New York Times and the rest of them wrote some real horrible lies that have ruined every shred of my life. Don't let me digress. And there's probably other videos that mention it or go into detail. So long story short, his argument that there was the wrong venue, I had proven wrong before he actually even made the argument. That's how I usually operate. I know what my opponents, it's like chess. You know if you do this, they're probably going to do that. And if you do this in chess, they're probably going to do that. Because they're going to see, oh shit, he's going to bring in his fucking bishop from the side and trap me with the queen. Oh. So that's how I argue, and that's how I operate. I know what my enemies are going to say, and I will tell you what my enemies are going to say. I would never hide my opponent's argument. Their argument makes my argument for me. Remember, only liars use censorship. Only liars use censorship. Only liars use censorship. And man, I look like a douche. Sorry. The So I'd proven his arguments wrong before he made them. Do you know what that feels like? Do you know how much that hurts? When people just lie to your face over and over again. People you're paying to be honest. That really hurts. It's like my life is like being stabbed in the heart every minute of every day. And I have so many nightmares that even being asleep is like being stabbed in the heart over and over again. Every day of my life is pure agony. And marijuana doesn't do enough. But luckily I'm so busy that I can't wallow in my own self-pity. Whoop-de-doo. Which is actually bad. My happiness, my natural disposition to being jolly is actually bad, because if I could be more depressed, I would probably just hang myself. And then there would have been no more suffering. You see, I am certainly responsible for my own misery. Absolutely. I knew that when I was 5 years old. I said, these people are insane. I got to get the fuck out of here. And I tried to kill myself a couple times and failed. And we know I have really bad luck. And no matter what, I could jump off a 100-story building and I'm going to land on I'm going to land on Chris Christie and survive. Let's be frank. You don't know my life. My life is a work of insane art. So, and pardon this, I look like some fucking hippie or some kind of dreadlock shit. That's not what's going on here. Fuck you. Just got to hold my weave in so it dries to the scalp. Let's wrap this up. My final points are, so I did what the judge said. He asked for an amended complaint. Oh, did he ask for an amended complaint? No, I wrote for him a motion to reconsider. And I said, I'll repeat my arguments that it can't be done where the crimes were done, or most of the crimes are done. It can't be done in New York City because of the aforementioned reasons, like the judge will be pressured socially, as we've seen in thousands of federal cases where judges made a legal decision and then based on the attacks they got in public and death threats and stuff and the media attacking them, they changed their rulings real fast or put stays on their rulings so people don't kill them. It's a sensitive position when you make a bold decision. Now, luckily, no one's going to be in love with Facebook. But the New York Times, the New York Post are published in other cities. In almost every major city in America, the New York Times is there on the newsstands and the New York Post is. They're the two most prestigious or famous papers on the planet Earth. This is serious shit. This is international. So I make another point. I say also the court is completely incorrect to say the crimes only happened in New York, because the crimes not only happened in the city and courthouse where I filed this complaint. They're happening right this minute. They're happening tomorrow in your courthouse. They're happening the day after in your courthouse. They're happening every day as long as the internet exists. Don't believe me? Google my name right now in the New York Post. Oh, what are you going to find? There's the New York Post article filled with lies about me. That's, of course, illegal because it was done as fraud and conspiracy and much more. Forget libel and slander. We're going bigger here. This was done as fraud and conspiracy to discredit the New York Post #1 critic and whistleblower. And I can prove all that. But right there, the judge is wrong. The crime literally not only happened in that jurisdiction, it's happening every minute of every day in that jurisdiction. The New York Times articles are online. I get Googled anywhere I go. Anywhere I go. People Google me because I'm a little weird and my life's interesting and people are fascinated by how fucking insane my life is and people Google me. And then they have to believe some of the shit they read in the mainstream press. They have to. It's human nature. And I can show you all kinds of ways that it destroyed my life directly. I can prove it. Their argument isn't you can't prove it. Their argument is we're not going to let you prove it. We're not going to give you a day in court, but you're going to have a fair fight. Well, I knew that going into this, but I'm just reporting you. I don't expect to win any of this. I don't expect to. Sure, I'm right on the law, but so what? I'm taking on a gigantic machine. If I win, it'll be a miracle. Yes, I'm right on the law, but that's not the way courts work. But I'm mostly doing this, one, to test the courts so I can at least, because if they're going to be corrupt, then we need to I need to confirm this as much as clearly as possible so I can then report it to the human race and we can go after these motherfuckers. So right there, he's wrong. And he even admits it, because remember, his argument was if the crime had happened here, this would be the right venue. So then I said, well, the crime did happen, and you can confirm that in 3 minutes in your own office chambers, whatever. He then responds with this argument. You can't use this venue because the crime didn't happen here. Wait. I not only proved it, but you could verify. You didn't say, I did what you said, and I didn't see a crime. That's not what he said. He didn't say, I Googled your name, and I didn't see any articles. The New York Post, the New York Times. He can't say that. He can't say any of the things. So he just repeated the original lie. The moon's made of cheese. No, it isn't. And here's some rock samples, or here's some photographs. The moon is a square. Okay, well, here's some photographs here. You can look at it on the naked eye. Here, tomorrow night, it's going to be in the moon. There's going to be a full moon tomorrow night. We're going to step outside and look, and you can see it's not square. And you show it to them, and after that, after you present your rebuttal, they then say, the moon's square. You didn't make an argument. You didn't prove anything. You didn't back anything up. You just said the same stupid lie again. The moon's made of cheese. Yeah, you could say it all you want. That's not evidence. Unbelievable, the death of intellectualism in human society. Oh my God. It's like fucking caveman times. And this is the shit I've been dealing with since I was born. Oh my God, I hate being alive. He's wrong right there. But I knew, since he was wrong the first time, that means he has to be wrong the second time. It's scientific law. And if you're stupid, that means you're stupid. Scientific law. If water is wet, then water is wet. If the judge proves to be a moron once, that means the judge is going to be a moron thrice, and so on, because he's not smart. And that's why he was appointed to begin with. Or he may be dishonest, but the fact that he's Democratic appointed, he's got no love for, he doesn't give a shit what happens in many states away in New York. But there you have a point where a lot of judges' egos are going to kick in. They're going to say, "Oh my God, this not only was I proven a fucking idiot by this plaintiff, dude's pro se. I didn't even get my ass kicked by a real lawyer. I got my ass kicked by a wannabe lawyer. That's going to hurt his ego and his self-worth. So the liar is then going to use his ego to try and shoot me down again, but he's got nothing, so he just repeats the original lie because he can't admit that he doesn't know shit about law. See what I'm up against? And his other argument, but he was wrong on every point. For example, it's true, I'm not living in that state right now, but I'm going to be moving back to that state. I'm just staying with friends in another state for the winter. No court case is resolved in 6 months. Most court cases barely start within 6 months. They go years and years. Some cases go on 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. No joke. How does a civil case go 40 years? Answer: crooked judges. It's impossible unless the judge is dirty or a super jackass. The judge was wrong on 5 different counts. That was one. The fact that I'm from that state and I'll be back in that state. So I do live in that state. I'm just spending the winter with friends. Right there. That one point alone proves the judge wrong, and an appeals court would agree if I wanted to go through that much trouble to go to the appeals court. They make it very difficult. Don't get me started. Too much work. I don't have that kind of time. And another point is, the judges, if you get rid of all my evidence, all the points I've made against the judge, he's still totally wrong. Under the law, it's up to the individual judge. That judge could just say, I think in the interest of justice, it's good to do this. We should be safe rather than sorry and do this far away from the criminals, the very powerful criminals that are named in the complaint. There's not going to be a trial. It's not like anybody's going to have to take a plane or a bus to go to the courthouse. That's not the way it's going to work. It's going to be settled long before that. The New York Post is going to say, fuck, we'll give you $50,000 to drop your lawsuit. And I'm going to say, are you fucking nuts? You're going to pay me $500,000 because a jury's going to give me $5 million for what you did to me. You ruined my reputation forever. That's worth a little bit more than $50,000, you douchebags. You see? But they're all going to end up settling, and I'm going to end up choking. just because I don't have fucking 7 years to waste on this shit. Because that's how slow the courts are. We're going to have to come up with some kind of agreement. That's the best case scenario is I'm going to lose most of the stuff even if I win. It's kills your soul every minute being alive when you're me. Any other points I want to make about it? I was just showing you 2 judges and how they so far in these landmark lawsuits have, and I'm sparing you most of the details. Believe me when I say these lawsuits are overkill. They're so flawless. When I was plotting the Facebook one, I thought this is the weakest lawsuit I will ever deal with in my life. It's not without merit, but it's weak. I didn't say it's wrong. It's not. I was right. But I was like, how am I going to make this argument that they can't block people for certain reasons and their due process of if you're incorrectly banned and things like that, there's nothing. They just trample over their customers and treat their customers like shit and lie about it for a number of different reasons, but I'm not going to get into that here. You could probably actually look up the Facebook lawsuits. It's public property and public files to see my extensive arguments. But then the more I started looking into it, well, I wasn't really looking into it. I was writing the lawsuit, and the more I was thinking about it, the more I was realizing, oh shit, that's right, gender discrimination, that's completely legal right there. I'm going to add that in. Oh yeah, that's right, they can't do this. Oh yeah. And when it was done, I'd say, damn, it's pretty fucking solid. And I don't have any reason to lie. Some of my lawsuits, it's like, oh, this one's easy. This one's going to be hard. You understand? I make lots of legal arguments. Some of them are completely conventional. I was falsely arrested. They admit I was falsely arrested. I was held in jail, falsely in prison. We all agree. So where's my money? Now, where we disagree is, okay, we all agree. My lawyer lied. The judge lied. The cops lied. The DA lied. Why aren't they going to jail? They have to under equal protection. They have to go. If they don't go to jail, that's a whole new federal crime. You violated equal protection 14th Amendment. Why do they get special treatment? If I don't break the law, I go to jail. Millions of Americans, if we don't break the law, we go to jail. But these guys, even after being convicted, still don't go to jail. Hitler and Stalin would be proud. But to everybody, that's a bold legal argument. From when I make the argument that the law already says you have no choice, the mayors, these crooked mayors, these dirty politicians, dirty judges, dirty DAs, dirty cops, they have to go to jail. And if they don't, you now have to go to jail for not putting them in jail. The attorney generals would have to go to jail, and so forth and so forth. Any judge who doesn't order the DA into jail, that judge has just broken law. That judge needs to go to jail. The problem is they have all the guns, and they control everything. But my argument isn't even bold. It's 14th Amendment. It's not even vague. But it's a crazy argument because everybody just accepts that the judges gave themselves immunity, and the politicians gave themselves immunity, and the cops gave themselves immunity, so they can pretty much do whatever the fuck they want. They don't have to obey any of the laws. But then other legal arguments I make go even further, and they're so revolutionary, but they're all completely legally flawless, like the age discrimination. There's no legal argument you could make for not allowing 20-year-olds into your comedy club or your dance club or your music club. No. Remember, their argument is going to be the government keeps doing entrapment, sneaking in 20-year-old cops undercover with a beard who look older to buy a beer so they can hit us with $3,000 in fines, and the bartender gets $1,000 in fines, and it's revenue for the government, and it doesn't stop any teenage drinking, and everyone knows that because all these politicians and police all drank when they were underage. The entire thing is a fucking... Remember, it's not just a farce. It's completely illegal under current laws. Just like the war on drugs. The war on drugs isn't unethical. I mean, of course it is. It's completely illegal. It's exactly a racket. It is a complete criminal racket. It is fraudulent. It is false for monetary gain. It's the war on drugs. Every American and every taxpayer can literally sue for their money back. The government can't claim it was, well, we failed, but we meant well. No, you didn't. You knew after year 1 it didn't work. But you still pretended it did because you were getting paid. And it didn't work in year 2. Now, their argument would be like, I'm a car dealer. Yeah, every car I sell you doesn't work, but I'm not a criminal. Whoa. No. The laws on fraud aren't, well, a politician or the government can lie for monetary gain. That's not what the statute says. Your laws say you broke the law. I agree with your laws that you broke the law, that the war on drugs was a criminal racket. You can't say, well, government doesn't commit crimes. Yeah, we arrest politicians and people in government all the time. So what the fuck are you talking about? And we have to. Equal protection. Nobody's above the law in America. Not the president, not a judge. We're all the same. That's 14th Amendment, Bill of Rights. 14th Amendment. We are all the same. You can't treat any of us better or worse. Now, of course, they don't obey any of their own laws. And who's going to make them? You? Just this piece of shit? If I was actually more successful at what I do, I would have already been whacked, which is fine with me. Just put me out of my misery. But I can't do it all alone, people. Start thinking with your brains. But so anyhow, my point is this. When I file some lawsuits or some of the legal arguments I make, I know some seem far-fetched. Some of them are a stretch, I would say. Others are completely sound, blah, blah, blah. So there's a whole variety of legal arguments I make because you want to throw everything, you know what I mean, at them. Conventional legal arguments and novel and innovative legal arguments. Because remember, every legal argument at one point was novel. Everyone likes to forget that. Every legal argument that exists, well, the first person who argued it, everybody thought they were a fucking idiot or a weirdo. Duh. That's how stupid the world is. We're at 1 hour and 5 minutes. I think we should wrap it up. Anything else I'd like to say? I still haven't heard back from the judge in the Apple lawsuit. Did I file a medical complaint? Well, whatever. Any moment I should be hearing from the judge. It's like they're slow as shit. It should take a judge 20 minutes to read my lawsuit. It comes in the mail. You read it. It's 4 pages. The longest ones are like 6 pages. It's going to take you a whole 10 minutes, 20 minutes. You read those 4 pages. You then go, does he make any sense? Does he make any legal points here at all? Is there any merit to this lawsuit at all? Well, I don't know anything about law, so I'm not really sure. I'm going to have to give this to my clerks, and they can read it, and they can see if... Even that's not what happens. This is what happens. My lawsuit comes in, goes to the clerks. The judge is busy looking at child porn online, watching movies, listening to music, jerking off. Because again, we've created a system where the judge doesn't have to read any of the lawsuits. That's the rules. They don't have to. They can have the clerk do it and just say, what does it say? Yeah, fuck it. You think, oh no, law's not that casual. Oh, it's a lot more casual than you think. I might be an expert on this. Remember, Goliath says, well, he's kicked the shit out of us dozens of times in our courts of law. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Fuck you. Smartest attorney on the planet. It should, right, day one, I send my thing in, and the judge should have a response the next day. Maybe the day after. Maybe a couple days later after that. That's not how it works. Most of my judges get back to me weeks or months later. What are they doing? Because remember, we all agree justice delayed is justice denied, meaning the judge just violated their oath of office. If the judge doesn't get back to me in 3 days, the judge violated not only their oath of office, but the law. But nobody but me cares. Everyone's just accepted that, no, courts are slow. Are you fucking nuts? It's illegal for the courts to be slow. And I'm not talking about criminal courts, asshole. Anyone who fucking doubts me by now should... I'm a little more comprehensive than you humans are. Will you fucking learn to trust me? Sheesh, I'm not talking about criminal courts. And of course, they don't even obey the speedy trial laws. I would know. Nobody in U.S. history has a better scandal than me. 5 years they prosecuted me on a B misdemeanor for attempted contempt. Another arrest for attempted harassment, which doesn't exist. They prosecuted me for 5 years on that one, too. Ask around. Everyone's going to say that's the most insane shit ever as far as the category. Judges. Oh, that. How long could it take, right? Now, this would be maybe the honest way it would work. My lawsuit comes in. The judge reads it that day, maybe the next day, because they're real busy. 4 whole pages. Maybe 6 in the longest ones I've done. They read it, and they go, Gender discrimination, no nipples. It's an interesting argument. I'm not sure if I agree with him, but it is an interesting argument he makes. It's a private company. We know gender discrimination laws apply to Facebook. We know there's really not that much of a difference between male and female nipples, so it sounds a little arbitrary. We can see that it is doing damage to people as people are losing their ability to use Facebook, which even Facebook admits is ubiquitous, and it is. The problem is this older judge probably doesn't use Facebook much. But it's like, and I gave concrete examples of how it's destroying people's lives. Like me, I had to look for an apartment to live in, and I couldn't communicate with anybody on Facebook. Anyone I knew. That's insane. So here's how it should work, though. So the judge gets that, and she looks at my things, 4 pages, like, he makes some interesting arguments here. I'm not sure I agree with him, but does his case appear to have merit? Like, is it just complete nonsense? Like, he's citing laws that don't exist? I mean, no. Even at my worst, my lawsuit is going to make out lots of logical points that make people, because everything I do when I write, or even song lyrics, it makes people go, I never thought of that before. Most of my stuff is very insightful. I think about things that people don't realize, like the Volkswagen logo. You look at it, and it looks almost exactly like a swastika. And everybody didn't notice that. People are not very detail-oriented. The Volkswagen logo, it's a circle, just like a swastika, and then it's thick, exact width of a swastika, and it's like you took the swastika and you just tilted a couple of yards. Look at it. And what a weird coincidence. Who created Volkswagen? Wait. You mean their logo looks like a swastika with a couple bends? And it was formed by the Nazis? Whoa. Christopher didn't just get lucky here. No, I'm just more observant than most people, and I'm sharper than a laser beam. And that's a curse. I wish I wasn't so super duper smart. It's horrible. But here's how it should go. The judge should look at it, reads it, says, gender discrimination, that's an interesting argument. If they ban nipples, they can't ban female nipples unless they ban male nipples too, which they could do. Now, remember that. That's an example. If Facebook bans male nipples, then they can legally ban female nipples. Do you see? Because then it's not gender discrimination. They could just say, we don't like to see people's chests. That's their right as a private company. See, that's the funny thing. It's the fact that they're discriminating based on gender and treating them differently. That's the crime. You see, if they treat them the same, the crime's gone. And I'm fine with that. If they ban all male nipples, I might think that's stupid, a stupid solution, but I won't say it's illegal. I'll say, now they're legal. Now they're in compliance with the law. We're done here. But it's that's that double standard. That's where they break the law. And then it's all the other stuff where he's deceptive. That's where they cross the line. The moment they use deception. When he lies to his customers about the terrorism, etc., etc., etc. I'm wrapping this up. I am seriously. Oh my God, I'm so horrible at this. I know. I apologize. I'm good at a lot of things. This isn't one of them. I'm not even that stoned either. And it's not because I'm stoned. It's because I have so many different fucking things I'm juggling. And I've got like dozens and dozens and dozens of legal cases I'm in the middle of. My life is horrible. None of it did I ask for. I wouldn't have to do this. If there was such thing as the American Civil Liberties Union, I wouldn't have to do any of this. If there was such thing as the New York Civil Liberties Union, I wouldn't have to do any of this. If there was any civil rights attorneys in America, I wouldn't have to do any of this. Where are they? How many times a day do you read about the New York Civil Liberties Union or the ACLU? That's right, 0 times a day. What are they doing? What did they do yesterday? Apparently not much. The day before? Not much. They don't do anything. Humans are lazy. I do all the work. Sorry, I have to take rest. The judge reads it. She says, some interesting arguments. I want to hear. I'm going to let this move forward because now the next step is she's going to send it to Facebook's lawyers. Facebook's going to get to then have whatever 30 days or a month, 2 months to respond. Lawyers are going to get to write up a response saying he's wrong. This is not gender discrimination. We have a right to not allow female nipples, but allow male nipples, and here's why. And most judges, you would think, whether they're smart or dumb or honest or dishonest, would be like, oh, this is an interesting thing. Facebook is one of the biggest companies in the history of mankind, 1 billion customers. He says they're mistreating their customers in a number of different ways. I'm going to let this move forward now because I'm curious to see what is Facebook's lawyers going to write back. And I can't even get there because I got these stupid judges playing all kinds of dumb games. They're playing dumb games with me, these judges. Um, I didn't expect them to be this dumb, I'm being honest. I expected them to be dumb. I expected them to be questionable and ethically. I didn't expect them to be this incompetent. Don't tell them I said that. Because then the ego kicks in. They're not going. No judge recuses themselves, and that's a funny fact here. I'm notorious for telling off judges to their face in the courtroom and making them look like fools and exposing their lies in front of everybody, and so on and so on and so on. And everyone calls that foolish and reckless. What they don't realize is it's actually brilliant, because it's a test on all these judges. They would have to recuse themselves. Mr. Brodeur just called me a coward and an intellectual midget who betrays all of society and the Bill of Rights for my monthly paycheck and pension coming. I'm not mad at him. He just made me look like a fool. Or when I prove them wrong, like clear-cut prove them wrong in front of everybody. Remember, I'm not even a lawyer and I'm proving the judge wrong. That's humiliating. It's humiliating. They hate my guts and they're not going to let me go to another judge. They want to fucking get revenge and they have the power to get revenge. But on my side, it double fucks them. One, now I can sue the fuck. Well, I can't sue the fuck out of judges. They have absolute immunity. It's illegal, but that's one I can't win in this lifetime unless you do it with public pressure and change the laws. It ain't gonna happen. But those judges get revenge on me. But first of all, on appeal, I'm gonna win every time because that judge had a conflict of interest. You see, by me telling them off, when I have a judge who's bad, I tell them off because they're bad. But it also means you can't be my judge anymore, asshole, because I told you off. Remember? And so now you hate me, which means you can't be a fair and impartial judge. So you need to recuse yourself and give me another judge because I'm going to roll the dice again. Maybe I'm going to get somebody not as stupid as you are and not as dishonest as you are. Our entire legal system is corrupt, top to bottom. Oh, this is the point I'm trying to finish to wrap this up. A judge would read it, say, this is pretty interesting. Nipples. Oh, I'm going to let this move forward. Or, this is what they would normally do, I would think, with common sense. I should interview more people who work in the courts. They would then pass it off to their clerks and say, he's pro se, will you take a little look at the case law? Pull me up some case law. That means like what a previous court said about gender discrimination in private companies, and is there other stuff about women's nipples? Are there previous cases in the Supreme Court or anywhere across the country, federal cases about gender discrimination? Get me some. So the judge can go, oh, the last three judges said they agreed with the billionaire corporation that women's nipples and men's nipples are radically different. So I don't want to rock the boat. I'm going to now have to follow that legal precedent. I'm going to also say, Mr. Brodeur, I'm sorry, I'm dismissing your complaint because women's nipples and men's nipples aren't the same, so we can't treat you fairly. Or whatever stupid argument they would come up with. That's the problem. Remember, in all my debates, it's not that my opponents have great arguments. In all my debates and battles with people, they refuse to give their argument. They refuse to even try to lie up some stupid argument. Like the Trachtenbergs. When we asked, lots of people have seen that and seen me challenge them in public. Why did you sabotage the City Hall project, giving Bloomberg 4 extra years in office? They refuse to answer the question. You saw it. Bill Cosby, he didn't have a different story than the girls did. He had no story. He wouldn't tell us any story. So theoretically, there could be maybe, the judge writes I write to the judge gets it, maybe a week, maybe she gives her clerks 2 weeks, says, I want to see stuff about whether this guy's case should go forward or not. Maybe, has anybody made decisions similar to these or not? Let's see before I decide whether to let this go forward. Now, she knows it's super urgent, and I've explained it's super urgent, so she's being extra illegal. It's super duper urgent for a lot of different reasons. For example, they're trying to fuck the 2016 election. Facebook is trying to twist the 2016 election, which is an international crime, a federal crime. It's also treason, and we're about to start the primaries and caucuses, so there's not a lot of time here. We're talking weeks to resolve this case. Weeks. This is a fucking democratic election. This is serious shit. And Facebook's not breaking the laws, so let's get this to them immediately so they can prove me wrong in just paperwork. Let's do it. Oh, but that's not what's happening. The courts move very slowly. And the judge takes months to weed my paperwork and to say, you know what, I'm going to just, he's in the wrong venue. Yo, yeah, I see now. Yeah, no, he's in the wrong courthouse. He needs to go somewhere else, man, yo. Yeah, no, crime didn't happen here, yo. I mean, crime did happen here, literally. It's happening here right today and tomorrow and every other day. But it's going to take me months to get back to him on this. Yeah, duh. To say no. I know it can take years to come up with no. Please, please kill me. Ladies and germs, it's 1 hour and 20 minutes. I apologize. Spread the word. The world is doomed. I just wish it would doom itself a little faster. Over and out.